My name's Psaledakis. In each video, you're going to meet a current student who's going to talk to you about a part of the community or an area of the program that they're really interested in and that they found really transformative and important for them in their work here. And the goal of this is to give you, a prospective student or a parent, a better understanding of this special place.
So we're a philosophy school, but we do math and science. We really do math and science in a way that's continuous with the philosophy that we do. And actually, math and science, particularly in the modern world, are inherently continuous with philosophy. You can't read quantum mechanics without talking about Kant. And you can't use Gödel numbers without talking about how deeply language is enmeshed in the way that we calculate and what the reality of numbers or of geometrical concepts or even of physical phenomena really is. It's really all woven together. I think some people feel some trepidation about the math and science program, and that's understandable. It is hard. There's a lot of hard work and a lot of things that we do that other schools don't do. But I think in that, you really see the way that it opens up for everybody. So most colleges, if you're gonna spend as much time as we do on math, you're listening to a lot of lectures and you're taking a lot of tests and you're learning, you're memorizing facts and you're learning the systems that other people have already found. And here, there's a lot of guidance from the thinkers that we're reading. We are learning from them, but we're also learning how to make our own way through their thought. We have, just like our seminar and language classes, the math and lab classes happen just sitting around a table and it's discussion based. In math, you go up to the board and you do demonstrations, but it's all about having a discussion. You really almost can't get left behind if you care. And so much of the experience of doing math and science here is learning to care about things you maybe didn't think you would care about.
We have to acknowledge that most of the books we read on this program are written in a language other than English. So we know that coming into reading these texts, there are deeper connections that we're not seeing because these things are coming to us through a different language. I think translation helps us reckon with the fact that human beings don't speak all in the same way. And in the same way, they don't think in the same way. So what does it mean to translate another's writing? That's the same question as what does it mean to translate another's thinking? And I think in a lot of ways, language, learning Greek, learning French, gets us to be better at dissecting what does it mean to translate another's thoughts into a way that I can think about them, and vice versa. How can I translate my thoughts to help others understand?
Reading groups are an opportunity to delve into a subject that might be of specific interest to you. For instance, the Harlem Renaissance. There's reading groups on Kant and Heidegger. I myself set up a reading group on texts that I was interested in with some people who also were interested on Harlem Renaissance authors, including Langston Hughes and Jean Toomer. 4 years seems like a long time, but the seminar reading list only gives us so much time to cover authors that range from Homer to James Baldwin. And preceptorials and reading groups allow us to engage with texts for a longer period of time, and authors that perhaps are not included in the seminar list who perhaps ought to be as well.
As if it wasn't enough that I got to do the Great Books program here and really get to think with, learn alongside, and grow with other students, there's also the city of Santa Fe, which really harmonizes with our project here at St. John's. Santa Fe is a city, it's not called the city different for nothing. It really actually reconsiders and challenges a lot of the status quo we see here in the United States. Santa Fe has been a great place for me to discover how to be a democratic citizen, which is actually one of the pillars of St. John's. Whether it be the bike advocacy group that I discovered here, or actually the Atomic Policy Group, who advocates for a safer and cleaner world. While at the same time, being in the capital of New Mexico, it really is the center of so much political action. I personally know of so many students who have gone to work at the City Hall, work at the State House, be a part of museums here, cultural and heritage sites, nonprofits, think tanks, all the above.
The city of Santa Fe has a really incredible art scene, but so does the St. John's College campus. I here run Etc., which is our fine arts and literary magazine. We publish short stories, poetry, drawings, paintings, photographs, translations, really anything everyone has to offer here on the campus. And I love it because I think it gives us an opportunity to show off a lot of artistic talent that doesn't always come up in our academic practices. Today we're in the Fine Arts Building, which besides the pottery studio is home to a group practice room, pianos everywhere. This is where a lot of musicians come to practice on campus. And you could maybe even hear some music in the background. Artistic practices aren't really explicitly part of the St. John's College curriculum. I think the curriculum really informs art, and art really informs the curriculum. You know, we're taught to think really deeply and consider everything that comes towards us, and that has really helped me in my artistic practice.
I want to talk about the vibrant film culture that happens here on campus. Every week there is film screening, and the next day there is a discussion, a seminar-based discussion on it. The exciting part about this is that you get to watch great films with people who are as enthusiastic about film as you are, and you get to discuss it as well with them. And the second way to engage with film is that you get to make your own films, and you can direct it, write it, edit it, whatever you want. It is a collaborative process, and it is exciting. We also have a film club that supports students who are making a film and give them equipment. This place takes film as a supplement to the liberal art seriously, and if you are into reading film and making film, this might be a place for you.
There are a couple of things that, for me, make the relationship we get to have with our tutors unique. The first is in part because of the size of the campus, the size of the school, and because of the shared curriculum. As a result of these two things, we first of all encounter our tutors more because their offices are mixed in with our classrooms, they spend time in the same spaces as us, and because of the shared curriculum and because of the fact that tutors teach many different classes and don't stay confined to their specialties, we are able to come to interactions with each other with so much common basis for understanding and common reference to the texts we've read together. The second thing that makes our relationship with our tutors unique for me, and this really falls out of the first one, is that almost as a part of their job description, they are very available outside of class to meet with students and to give them their time. Not only have these relationships challenged the barriers that I thought might exist between my personal, academic, and professional lives, but these relationships have changed how I think about what a good education is as a whole.
One thing I really love about St. John's is the ability to balance a really rigorous academic program with coming out and really enjoying yourself in physical activity. Intramurals is very special here at St. John's College because we try to create an environment where players of all skill levels can come and enjoy themselves. That means we try to foster competition for the experienced players while also leaving room for players who have never played sports before. If you're a beginner, you can still come and really enjoy yourself. For example, when I first came here, I'd never played soccer before. But after playing intramurals, it has now become one of my favorite sports to play.
St. John's is rigorous, but it's also joyful. So there are so many good stories of my time at St. John's. But one moment that really particularly sticks out to me, I was in a plane on the tarmac at this airport, and I was looking out like over the kind of road, and you know when a road's really hot and it's got all of that kind of like hot air coming off of it. We spend a lot of time thinking about questions of heat, and so there's this whole phlogiston and caloric debate between scientists of the mid 18th and 19th centuries. And I remember looking out at this tarmac and having this thought that I'd kind of had before, but not in this way, where I was like, what is happening on that tarmac? Like, why is heat working in that way? And it was kind of delightful because the simple answer, which I got from my parents when I asked them, was that, they said, oh, well, atoms are moving. And I was like, well, that's not a sufficient answer. What even are atoms? And so it's it was a fun, joyful moment about the St. John's education, which is we kind of think we know all of these things, and then we actually go look and ask the questions. And sometimes the answers are deceptively simple, but sometimes what it means to really know those answers and put them into the thing that you're looking at and understand it is an entirely different process altogether. And so I think I was on the tarmac in the plane, and the whole kind of weight of this education hit me, and I was like, oh, I did learn how to question things differently and think differently about the world that has always been right in front of me under my eyes this whole time.
In fact, seminar has been the most transformative class for me here at St. John's. This is so because I may walk into seminar thinking I know with full surety what the meaning of a particular text is. But through the conversation that I undertake in seminar, my perspective becomes populated with the thoughts of my peers and my tutors. The most important quality that I think I leave seminar with each time is more courage to question my own beliefs, to be able to change my opinions when I think that I might be wrong, and to have my ideas challenged by my peers. It is because of the shared transformation that Johnnies take on together that they leave St. John's with a more enlivened and thoughtful perspective on the world.
What's great, I think, about the opening question is that the conversation that gets unleashed is incredibly varied and multifaceted, but it is all directed at understanding the text in front of you. Every student at the table is coming into the room with a different reading, is coming to the room with a different background, with a different lived experience. And that's true for the tutors too. You know, you might be reading a poem, or you might be reading Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, but you'll have a tutor who did a PhD in physics, and then a tutor who did a PhD in poetry. And it's going to force you to get an understanding of what the author is trying to tell you, but then allow you to take that understanding and actually interpret it on your own terms. Having peers and tutors that come from many different places in the world, many different professional and academic backgrounds, is necessary to having a deep conversation in which you can certainly find a basic agreed upon understanding of the text, but you get to move past that basic understanding because you're challenged by your peers and by your tutors, and because you're forced to and you're asked to interpret it on your own terms.
There's a lot of United World College students at St. John's, including a lot of my closest friends, and I think it's a really good match. Why do I think it's a really good match? There's basically two reasons. The first reason is the school does a lot for us, both to make it affordable to go here and with helping with visa processes, everything around coming here. And just the two institutions, I think students from UWC do well at St. John's. Both schools are small schools with a clear purpose, where we try to be the best versions of ourselves. Both are also academically demanding, but the academics here are completely different from the IB that you're used to. Every day I just think that I'm learning something that's meaningful for me personally and will be useful in terms of the skills that I learn here later in my life.
Now more than ever, we find ourselves in an intersection where society could be breaking down or built up. And it is up to us as students that are going to become the new leaders to decide how we want to approach this, how we want our education to be, and how we want our world to be. And we do this not by examining our own echo chambers, but looking beyond that. At St. John's, we're sort of a microcosm of society, not one of homogeneous thought, not one of an echo chamber, but one of a diversity of opinions and ideas. Those that we explore together, we justify, and we're forced to grapple with them. But most of all, we go beyond our own ideas and truly examine and explore others and really question why, how, and who influences those. Our job here isn't singular, our job here is continuous.